It's November 26th, the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm just letting Instagram populate before I get started. So give me just a second. Perfect. Now we are live. So I just want to go over today, um, welcome to day 13 of my journey from 10 to $20,000 a month to $100,000 a month wholesaling real estate. Today, my promise was 8 live seller conversations and 4 offers. What actually happened is that I had 7 conversations and 2 offers. Between me and my team member Santi, we had 13 conversations and 2 offers. We had 0 new leads, 0 contracts, and 0 revenue. So the promise was not kept today. I did the follow up block, but I came up short on conversations and offers. So that's something to just take into account, right? Um, I want to get into today's segment, which is the lesson for today is speed is king. Um, I here's a story. So I got a house under contract on Sunday. The seller had already been talking to 2 other buyers before me. One of them had walked the property in the last couple of days and came back saying he wanted to make an offer. She told him I already signed something with Julian, right? And so she called me this morning just to double check that she wasn't obligated to the other guy. And I told her that no, you signed with me. You're not tied to him at all. And so the only reason I'm in that position is that when we first talked, she told me that she'd spoken to 2 other people, and I thought I was one of them. I knew I had competition. So I started at, obviously I came in at a certain number. She tried to negotiate with me a little bit and she asked for $5,000 more. And for me to get leverage on the situation, I said, if you are willing to sign right now, I'll do the $5,000 more. And so basically, you know, she said she couldn't sign right away. She was driving, but she said that she'd be able to sign something tomorrow. She said she'd go over it, and so I called her the next day on Sunday, and we had a conversation. I sent her over the agreement. She looked at it, she reviewed it, everything was good, and she signed on the spot, right? And so, um, if I had waited, those other buyers who had already walked or the property, like who were in the process of doing that paperwork, you know, I probably would have lost that deal. And that deal was a good deal. It's a house that's in distress. It needs a lot of repairs, and so yeah, I would have lost that deal. So that's why I say that speed is king. If you have a seller on the phone, your goal is to get a contract signed on that call. That's what I preach. That's how I do it. I don't want to have a second call. I want to have a second call when I already have it under contract and I'm getting pictures. So that's kind of how I do things. So it's very good to be competitive and to be very fast and clear. With these sellers because you want to go in and do it. So I think that's a big takeaway that anyone could take from today's call is just speed is king. Just be faster than everybody else. And I think you'll do better. So now the third segment of today is the system upgrade. As I mentioned before, I was upgrading my TikTok ads. Basically, what I'm doing now, and I finished it thankfully, is that I'm going to be sending TikTok feedback on the leads that I get. So basically, I'm going to be getting the leads, and then I'm going to qualify the leads, which means like, are they listed, or have they been owned for less or more than 3 years, right? And so depending on the answers to those questions, I'm going to send something back to TikTok that says, hey, this lead was actually a really good lead because it wasn't listed and it was owned for more than 3 years. Ideally I want someone to have equity in the property, and so that's why this is important, right? And so I finished that up, which means that I'm ready for more TikTok ads. So after the holidays, I'm gonna start running some ads. I'm going all in on Central Florida. The reason is that I um I learned from someone that in this group called Level Up REI. This guy did something very brilliant, which was that he said that he wanted to simplify his business. And he said he was only going to do one marketing channel, one state, and one title company. And I thought that was genius because I was like, wow, that's so awesome. It sounds so great. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one channel, one state, and one title company. And so my channel is going to be TikTok. The state is going to be Florida. I'm going to focus on Central Florida. I may expand later, but I am going to do one title company. So I'm going to be out in the hunt for that title company that can help me, close deals in Florida fast and easy. So that's pretty good. I'm glad I got that done. With that being done, I think it's going to be much better for me and for my company. So that's great. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Um, that was my that was basically my system upgrade right there. And then now my promise for tomorrow is going to be it's Thanksgiving, so I'm not going to do a whole bunch of calls on Thanksgiving Day. I don't want to piss people off, but I'm going to be working all day on systems. So I'm going to, set up some tasks here and there. I want when my lead comes in, I want there to, if they don't answer the phone right away, because I call them really quickly, then I want to put them in this deal stage where they get tasks added for the whole next week. And so I call them 3 times a day, double dials. And so that I think is going to increase the conversions on our leads because we're going to hit them so hard. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, so my promise is going to be, you know, 0 required seller conversations, no fixed offer count, at least 2 hours of focus systems work, which means, tighten up workflows and automation and making sure that the TikTok and HubSpot and my scripts are ready so that when the holidays are over, I can hit the ground running on calls and offers. And the idea is, yeah, just use this quiet day just to build things that make the next 30 to 90 days smoother and more profitable. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, and if you're listening to this, and if you want to see the real climb from $10,000 to $20,000 a month to $100,000 a month, wholesaling, follow and subscribe, and turn on notifications for day 14. And if you are someone who owns a real estate business, like a wholesaling, business, a wholesaling company, or you're in the real estate space, or you're an entrepreneur and you're doing over $50,000 a month or more, um, we would like to have you on my podcast. And if you want to be on, just you know, DM me the word podcast on Instagram. I'm at Julian Castle X on Instagram and everywhere else. So DM me and then we can chat a little bit more. I've interviewed some great guests like Pace Morby, Ryan Pineda, and many more. So you guys have a great day and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy